Hey, what's going on, everybody? So we are going to the final step of the garage floor. If you had not seen it, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the videos that I just did, putting down the epoxy shield right here. And also, in the same time, I'm going to go ahead and put up a before and after picture using this. So this isn't necessarily a review of this because it's now been about 22 hours since it's been down, and you're supposed to be adding on this product within 24 hours of laying it down. So it's time for me to get going. So why did I not want to use the gloss coat Rust-Oleum? Because it's not UV resistant, or it's basically susceptible to UV, meaning it will deteriorate and discolor over time. So I went with the industrial grade Leggari product. I don't have any experience with this. The company puts out a lot of videos doing just some awesome things by professionals. I am not a professional, but I haven't seen too many just regular consumers doing sort of a review of this product, so I figured I would go ahead and do just a sort of a separate video on the review of this. So far, at least from what I gather, that they, unlike with Rust-Oleum, to where it says a 2.5 kit garage doesn't even cover my 2-car garage. They, at least some of the reviews that I've seen, is that they give you more than what's necessary. So the mixing directions for this says 1 gallon will get you 500 to 800 square feet of space, and depending on the ground type. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with half a kit. So you'll see me measuring out 3-to-1 ratio, basically 32 ounces total twice. So I'll be putting in 24 ounces of part A and 8 ounces of part B into here twice, and then mixing it all up in here. Now the key thing that I've seen on the directions is that it absolutely must be mixed in perfectly, like completely thoroughly. So that's why I got the drill with the 1 gallon attachment, and also got the gloves that's necessary, and then also just to make sure I'm getting anything off the edges, I got my little stir stick here to just really get everything off the edges, because this part has to be perfect. Now here's what I see as one of the drawbacks from this, is that it will take 1 week before you can actually start putting heavy equipment and really moving back into whatever space you're doing this on. I'm doing this in my garage. So my garage is now in my living room and partially in my backyard. So we're going to have to live with that for 1 additional week, while we've already been at it for a week with the preparations of the Rust-Oleum. So that is a drawback. However, it's UV resistant, and this is going to add significant strength to the floor. Now, in addition to that, there's also going to be the aesthetic part of it, which is I'm going to be doing a high gloss part of it. Now you could go ahead and add in the grit additive, but I'm not going to use that. So we'll go ahead and put this to the side. And the reason why I'm choosing not to do this is because after talking to my family who had a shop, they didn't do the grit additive when they did the top coat, and they said that there's enough sort of traction in a shop environment to go ahead and kind of learn how to walk around it. Now, they did state there was a few times where they slipped. They just, after learning the hard way, they were able to figure out how to navigate about it, and they definitely preferred being in without the grit. So there's sort of mixed information out there on about the grit. On one place it says adding the grit adds durability, but in one of the YouTube videos of Leggari, they stated that this product will add durability, period, and this really only adds additional traction. And in that addition of traction, it reduces it down from glossy to more of a satin finish, and I'm looking for a real good shine. So that's why I'm not going to be doing this. So without further ado, I got a plan in place. Let's go ahead and send it. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the price difference for this compared to this is I bought 2 of these kits. Each of them was going for about 120 bucks, so about 240 for 2 kits. This 1 gallon product costs $225 plus some tax and everything. But roughly around, basically this costs about the same price as 2 kits. So this is industrial grade stuff. Again, like I said, this is supposed to be the creme de la creme, at least from what the hype that I'm seeing is, but I don't know. This isn't necessarily a review of the product, but that's just why I chose to do that. So later, in maybe like a year or so, I will go ahead and do a review of these products and see how it comes out. Another reason why I'm going with this product, because as long as there's not some major failure and as if I've somehow failed to do the preparations correctly, that I should be able to, if there's basically some scratches or whatever, or something happens, I can kind of like smooth it out with maybe some like light sanding, and then go ahead and put down another coat, and apparently it makes everything look like it's brand new again. So that also is sort of easy maintenance once this goes on. So now let's send. Okay, so I want to kind of give you a little before and after photo here, at least from this perspective. This is the before photo. And this is the after photo. But so this is the excitement that it kind of brings. It's really looking pretty good. But I got more work to do, and it's a week before we hopefully take it to the next step, which is with the top coat right here. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the professionals on the YouTube video, Leggari, they go over this. So this isn't necessarily a how-to video because they do a very good job at doing it. I'm just going to briefly cover some of the things that I picked up from what they say. Number one, what they say to do is before you actually get started, go ahead and just let the roller soak in. And the key thing with this, unlike the epoxy, is this goes a long way because you're only supposed to put it on very thin. All right, so we got on quite a bit in this batch here. So what they recommend to do is actually basically go down the center. And then from this point, start going side to side. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm kind of getting in on the cracks here, because unlike how I did with the epoxy, if you saw that video, I kind of just went back and forth, north to south, east to west many times. But on this time, once you put it down, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to make sure I'm very thoroughly covered in all directions here. All right, go. Yeah, that's it. And then I'm going to go ahead and come from another direction and just try to, again, just go over it multiple different times. And I'll show you this one direction, and then I'm going to go ahead and place it, guys, so that you can just watch it in time lapse. Key thing that I just learned here is don't. So I'm going to want to go back and forth this many times, make sure you don't overextend, which I'm doing right now. So to just try to compensate, I'm just going to go back and forth again here a little bit. And then I'm going to just roll over here to the other side. All right, so let's go ahead and place you in a good time-lapse position. So you just saw me do the tape removal. Lesson learned, go ahead and remove the tape immediately after applying the epoxy before the paint chips. And yeah, if you choose not to and you'd be like me, then you're going to need the razor blade just like I did to go ahead and get off some of the tape that was bonded very tightly to the epoxy. So that was a good sign, is that in some places where it was definitely heavy on the tape, it was pretty hard to puncture through with the as a matter of fact, in some cases I couldn't even puncture through with the blade. But it looks good. You can definitely see there is a good gloss going on here all the way throughout, at least especially when you look at it from an angle. When you look down right on top of it, you can definitely see there is a gloss to it. And I would even say I'm walking around on it barefoot right now, as you saw me, and the chips seem to kind of, you can kind of barely feel the chips. As a matter of fact, can't really feel them with the feet. You can only feel them like if your hand's going over them. Again, I'm barefooted, so I'm very happy with how it looks. It looks awesome. You know, the only thing is why I probably don't sound as excited as I may be after how it looks right now, is because the true test for me is how it's going to hold up. So if you haven't, depending on when I get my garden update video, or if you didn't see my garden update video, I'm heading out of town for the next 3-4 weeks, and so I'm going to be gone pretty much till October. And so what I wanted to do is, the reason why I'm walking around in here barefooted is because, as you saw in the earlier part of this video, I mentioned that it takes a full 7 days to cure. Well, right now it's 4 days and going on its 5th day. And so it feels good on my feet right now. So as far as like, if you felt that you can sort of start pushing the limits, it feels pretty solid on my feet right now. I'm looking around, for example, I just went right here, you know, I'm walking. Still looks like you got a good sort of, you know, no footsteps on it. And, you know, there's no marks being left by my bare feet right now. So I'm pretty confident on that. And the reason why that's important, and I'm doing this as sort of an initial test, is because I got a few projects coming up, but the one that I want to get done for my family prior to leaving is getting some shelves up on this wall. So I'm going to go ahead and tomorrow, because I wanted to at least get to the 5th day before I start building shelves. Tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and put shelves up there. And so after I get back, I'm definitely going to be doing a lighting video, because I need more lighting in here. And it was definitely evident while doing this video, at least to me, especially if I'm going to turn this into some sort of a shop, I'm going to need some lighting in key areas. But anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you liked it. Again, I plan to do, if you saw me on the previous video, I'm going to plan to do a 1-year review when I get to that point. And as long as I remember, and I should remember, to kind of give you an update on whether this Leggari product over the Rust-Oleum actually worked. And as a matter of fact, if I start seeing some issues even beforehand, then I'll even come even sooner. So this is sort of a little of an experiment. You know, one of the questions so far is, did I get sort of enough epoxy onto the stem wall? And we went pretty heavy. So it definitely is covered. Again, I'm really not going to know until, you know, years from now on how well it sticks, because if you recall if you saw my previous video, and if not, I'll go ahead and put a link right here, when I actually laid the epoxy. The stem wall in this section right here, I did 0 cleaning. All I did was basically vacuum it up and laid down the epoxy. So it's pretty rough in there, but I'm anticipating this is probably going to let loose in places. It's going to, although I will say, as soon as I put like my luggage and things down there, it's not going to have much traffic. So again, that's the experiment to come. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. This is going to be some bonus footage. I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to do this holding the camera at such a low to the ground and cutting, but you can see the tape right here. I'm going to go ahead and show you how hard it is actually to get it up with the knife. So like, I'm cutting into it, trying to slice it right now. So it got some pretty good strength on it. Let me see how good I can get this off here. All right, come from a different angle where it was light, you know, or at least it was not so bad, but man, right here where it's on there really thick. Okay, so I couldn't get through that part, but I'm getting through this part. Let's try it from a different angle. I really got to get rid of this wood paneling. Whoops, sorry about that. You still seeing it? Looks like it. All right, so again, if the camera angle is terrible, I apologize. I can't even see the angle right now because I'm so high above the camera. But yeah, basically this one section where it's really thick, it's taking the dang X-Acto knife out. Part of it's definitely going to be permanently in there, but trying to, okay, well, we at least broke it free. But you can see this is some pretty tough stuff. So going thick, at least this is a good indication that going as thick as I did is going to be pretty strong for anything while it's on the floor. So that's a good sign. All right, thank you.